It was a swimming family then? The two of you each were swimming?
Yeah, yeah. So my brother and I are both we're both adopted. So uh, my parents that I have, because I was adopted from the hospital, so I had no interaction or anything. So my dad, he wrestled at Purdue. My mom got 1B in high school, and it was in gym. And my dad loves to harass her about it at times. Um, so I believe that they've told me like I had an uncle who swam at Michigan State. So I'm pretty sure like that's where my swimming came from. But they just kind of let me do all types of sports growing up. Same with my brother. He and I both kind of settled into soccer and swimming growing up. Those were just kind of two sports that click with us the most. But I tried baseball, golf, roller hockey, tennis. I never played football or ice hockey. I feel like ice hockey would have been pretty cool, but
So I want to ask you about something serious then, kind of early in our conversation, and I'm going to ask you to kind of advance your trust in me a little bit here than maybe you
yeah,
would be 45 minutes from now. But
yeah.
um, you brought it up, and I want to talk about it right here. My sister's adopted. She was born in 1969, and I was born in 1975. So she was 6 years old when I was born. So I was the only biological child my mom and dad had, but I grew up with a older adopted sister. And so because of that, not only did I, learn a lot about adoption, but I also kind of learned that each person personalizes the adoption process in their own way. And so can I ask you, how did you, it's not my business when you found out, because I think that's a family decision, but if you want to tell me about it, I guess I'm curious about how you came to know about it and how you reacted to it, and how that played a role in your development.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always open about it. I've friends talked to me about it before, and everything like that. But I think I was about like somewhere around 10 to 12. And I'm sure my parents probably know the age better than I do, but it was somewhere around like 10 or 12 is when I found out, and I can't remember how I found out. I think maybe my parents brought it up or were kind of explaining it, but it's also kind of weird because I look like my parents right now. I'm a little bit taller than both of them, but I mean, we look fairly similar. So when I was about that age, and I found out or something, I do remember like one swim practice that I told one of the girls on my swim team, and I forget, who knows how it comes up when you're that age. You talk about anything and everything at swim practice, and I said, yeah, I'm adopted, and she was like, no, you're not. She's like, you look like your parents. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not. And then after swim practice, she went up to my mom. She's like, Mrs. Craig, is Brad adopted? My mom's like, yeah, and just gave her this like bewildered look, like why would he lie about that? Um, so I think it was probably about 10 to 12 when I found out, and then over the years, my parents kind of, if I asked, gave me more information. And then I believe, and I mean, this is kind of how much I know about the process and even looked into it, but I think it's 18 in Michigan that you can like legally go to the county clerk and like find out everything if you want, and there's nothing, can happen. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know my birth mom was 24 at the time. I was born at the Michigan hospital. Much like a lot of adoptions, which she interviewed a couple different people and selected my parents, and I was born, and then they brought me home from the hospital. She wanted to name me Matthew Thomas. I still don't know the last name and everything, and I found out that I think, like I said, I had an uncle who swam at Michigan State or something like that. Um, and yeah, and I mean, my parents have even offered up over the years. They've even said, hey, if you want more information, I mean, we have it. We can give it to you, or you can even call, the county clerk, I think, in Midland, and find out. Um, and I think actually a few years ago, my mom even asked him. She's like, I mean, are you interested in finding out your birth mother's full name or anything? And I mean, to me, I've never known any different. Um, And I think depending on when you find out and maybe how old you are when you're adopted probably plays a pretty significant role in it and everything. But, I mean, if my parents would have never told me I was adopted, aside from the fact that, my dad's the only athletic one, that may be the only thing that tipped me off. But, I've never known any different. My parents love me like crazy. I love them. And so, and pretty much the thing that they've told me about birth mom is, hey, she put you up for adoption and selected us because she wanted a better life for you than she thought she could give you. And, to me, that takes a lot of, I don't even know the right word for it, but, maturity or, you know, love is probably the best word for it. To be able to do something like that.